Este o persoană deosebită, foarte activă în Spania, în Catalană, în transferul de afaceri și este capul răutăților în spatele la Reempresa, care este un mare succes în Spania și o să ne spună câteva cuvinte din urmat al colegului care o să intre în detalii.
Good morning to all. I mean that it was my presentation. Thank you to all to be here. I'm very glad to have been invited with Dan and all the ecosystem here to present our experience. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, perfect. Then this is a big effort. I want to express my gratitude to Dan and all of you. It's a big effort to start this first activity related to transfer business, this first conference, this first event related to the business transfer. And it reminds me when I was in 2009 in a plane going to Beijing to deliver one speech in Beijing to the whole of the people with my colleagues of the World Business Angels Association. We have started there the first event related to the early stage investment. It's the investment in the early stage in the entrepreneurs in China. It was one of the first efforts that we do to enlarge the community of the business angels around the world. And when I was in this plane, I have one main homework to do. I was writing a solution for the situation in Spain, in Catalonia, related to the same situation that we have learned from other speakers during the session yesterday. It was the problem with the closing of the companies for the crisis. Then it was a lot of you have a lot of companies closing, as you can see. In Europe, in Spain and in Catalonia, but not only because of the crisis, most part of them because the lack of succession, the transmission problem. Then some companies that are already working since 30 or 40 years with an old man or women in the front of these companies has the lack of succession, and there is a problematic because they are in danger to close. Then I have this concern on my head. I have been working during 35 years for this foundation. You have the name there, Autoocupació. It was my own venture. 35 years ago, I funded this foundation with some colleagues in the university to help the entrepreneurs, to help the companies to born and grow, and I have spent my life trying to help the ecosystem of entrepreneurs to be successful. Then during these 20 plus years, I was focused in starting from the scratch, from nothing. An idea, business plan, and then grow. And after this, in 2009, I can see how most part of this company that I have helped with people aged more than 15 years or 16 years, that people that are seeking for the transmission, are seeking for the new people, new entrepreneurs to help it. And I have write down this business plan. It was the same methodology that I have explained to our users, our entrepreneurs. I have redacted this business plan. When in Spain or in Catalonia, the business transfer system or market was zero, was the same that here. Only people trying to, perhaps, small brokers for the big transmission, and the other, most part of the transfer. I cannot say that this was a system, but it was only people meeting in a bar and perhaps selling the company under the table without any methodology, without any control, without nothing. And most part of them not seeking correct transmission, correct people to transmit this company that is already going well. Then, that was my concern. Have write down this business plan 2009, and there is the figures. From nothing, from the scratch. Now we have a marketplace. Oriol will explain a little bit about this. We have had 2,500 transfer. We say successful transfer. We say Reempresa's exit. You can understand this. With more than 150 million euros of transactions. The total amount of the total transactions that we have done is more than 100 million. You can imagine in my business plan there was not this level of activity. There was some hundreds of companies, perhaps 10 million euros. And we have saved more than 70,000 direct jobs, 2-3 jobs per company in average. We have nowadays in our marketplace, you can go through internet and this Reempresa.com, excuse me. That is more than 12,000 buyers registered and 77,000 sellers registered. And this is the thing that we will come here to explain. You can do the same. You can start from the scratch, from, can I say, nothing, or a little bit more than nothing, and in 10 years you can show these numbers. And nowadays we have a structured market in Catalonia. There's no problem for the transmission of companies. You have people, and you have 70 entities, more than 150 technical persons involved in the transmission that will help you. We have, in this case, the people involved in Catalonia to find the correct seller, the correct buyer, with the help of a methodology that ensures the success. Because perhaps I can spoil a little bit, these companies, the 250 companies are successful, are already transferred, and they are alive in an empty 2.7% after 3 and 5 years. Then is a success rate is very high. Then my colleague Oriol will explain a little bit more about the technical details of this, and I hope that this conference can help the ecosystem to grow and to achieve the same result as in Catalonia. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert. Thanks a lot.
Okay, if you don't mind, I think I will extend that. I think I have around 10 minutes, more or less. So, as Albert was saying, the introduction about Reempresa, I'm going to try to share with you which are the key elements and how do we work. And I have some infographics that maybe, I know some of you have, maybe you can share it. So we have some key figures. For you to understand, I want you to imagine Spain in 2010, so in the middle of a huge economic crisis. And as Albert was saying, there was a concern from these two institutions, which is TECOT and Ocupación. TECOT is an employers association, so representing the interests of SMEs, and Ocupación, which Albert is the president, it's a foundation specialized in helping entrepreneurs mostly to start a business. So we have companies and entrepreneurs. And usually, when talking about business transfer, we don't think about the buyer as an entrepreneur. So one of the first challenges that we had was to position the buyer as an entrepreneur. So for us, it's people entrepreneur, somebody who is starting a business from zero, that's someone that is taking over an existing one. And that's important detail because then when you do communication campaigns or when you go to these congress or these events, etc., you can imagine that everybody is like, start a business, it's quite sexy, it's cool to start a business. And we were like, do not start a business, buy an existing one, which is easier and safer. You now may be thinking some of the advantages of buying an existing business. You can imagine that you have already some data of the performance from the past year, so you know which is exactly the current situation. And of course, you don't have to look for the first customers because they are already in the company, right? So we launched this in 2010, and at the beginning, yesterday we had the former ministry explaining about financing solutions to start this service and to grow the market. We had an ERDF fund from the European Union to, instead of be used in infrastructure, let's say, it was used to help SMEs and improve competitiveness. That's how we started. And another important reason, since we want to equal the entrepreneur and the buyer, instead of deploying our own network of offices around Catalonia, we said, usually when you want to start a business, where do you go? And I mean for self-employment reasons mostly. So in Catalonia, you usually go to the local business office, which is owned and managed by the city council. So instead of deploying our network of offices, what we did is to set up a network of collaborators with all these local offices. So this way, imagine that you're living in Barcelona and you want to start a business, whatever, like you want to sell clothes, like a small or even a restaurant. So you can go to this local agency and you say, look, I want to start a business. So they have services, training, a lot of facilities. So nowadays, if you go there, they tell you, okay, you have a restaurant, you have two options. You can start from zero, or maybe you can buy one of those. So that was a key success factor for us, because this way we merge with the existing services that they have right there. That's how we achieved the one-stop shop system, which is a huge recommendation from us, because also since you go to this one business office, they already have training programs. They help you create a website. They help you trainings about marketing, about how to run a business successfully, etc. So you get to merge both the services that they have for entrepreneurs. Now they are available for buyers as well. So that's also a thing I know. For example, today we are here at the Chamber of Commerce. So it would be great if the services that are already existing for entrepreneurs could be mixed and merged for potential buyers. For you to understand Reempresa, our main focus is very small companies. When we talk about the 2,500 deals, we're not talking about big companies or even medium, mostly micro. And mostly the buyers, they are buying for self-employment. So imagine again, Spain 2010, we had an employment rate more than 30%, and youth unemployment rate more than 50%. So from the, let's say, society, the government, the solutions that you have, imagine that you're 45, 50 years old and you get fired from a company, you've been working there your whole life. The government response is try to look for another job, sometimes difficult, or renew your profile, like go to a community management training and you will become a community manager, not that easy, or create your own job, like start a business. which is risky at some times. At some age and in some situations, you're not willing to take that risk. So nowadays, thanks to Reempresa, we say, okay, maybe at that point you can create your own job, but instead of starting from scratch, you can buy an existing one, which is less risky, and you get more data to analyze and to do study the viability of your project and to do the business plan. So our focus is mostly micro firms, and here you have a bit the business model that we have, so you get an idea. It's a public-private partnership, so the local public administration, they are paying us to establish the system in these local offices. So we give response to answers. One, for the business owners, so when you're facing retirement, you have a solution and a methodology marketplace to find a successor. And also for the buyers, mostly 50% of those buying a company through our system, they are unemployed, which is again a solution for this. Here are the key ingredients, the tools and resources that we have. So, marketplace is fundamental to have the platform, and nowadays, of course, online platform to manage both sellers and buyers. And I invite you. Yesterday we had Mahir Belsamaka, she's the General Secretary of Transferul. If you are interested in which are the key elements that your platform should have, the minimum quality standards, I recommend you to go to the Transferul website. We have some information there. And also with Lex and Edwin, 3 years ago we led the EU4BT project. You can go to eu4bt.eu. It's a project that we led 3 years ago to identify the key quality standards that a platform should have. So those thinking about developing like a website, I know Dan is aware about that, so in there you can find some information. So of course a marketplace to match buyers and sellers, then methodology, the procedure and the tools to support along the process of buying or selling a company, and this is quite important. So the M&A, the mergers and acquisition world, they have a lot of experience through the years. So what we tried to do, and for us it's been a key success factor, was to take the values from and some methodologies from these big deals and bring it to the small deals. So protect confidentiality, to have the right documentation to prepare the selling profile, and then again, since they are entrepreneurs, to do the business plan, but instead of thinking, yes, in 2 years I'm going to sell 1 million euros of bottles of water, then you have the existing information of the company right now, so you get better information to do the future forecast. Then training, of course, and again, we focus only on training about buying or selling a company, because since we have the network, in here, the network of collaborators around, nowadays we have more than 80 offices around Catalonia. Since we've only focused on how to buy or how to sell a company, because we don't need to train about how to manage a company or how to do marketing, how to create a website, because you get access to those resources through the network. That's the point. Imagine here in the Chamber of Commerce, so you could focus on giving trainings about how to buy or how to sell, and then the current existing training programs and all the resources, you make them available for the buyers and sellers. Here you have the procedure, which is standardized, and basically quick overview. One of the differences of our service is that cliente, which means the seller, they cannot go directly to the website and post a profile, a company for sale. Actually, they have to go through us. So this way, what we have is we can ensure veracity of information. So I cannot go to the website and say I have a wonderful company, great profits, the employees are fantastic. You have to come through us. So when you want to sell, we will ask you a lot of documentation, official. So you say you have 1 million turnover, show me your taxes. You say you have 3 employees, show me that the salary is, etc. So this way we can check the information is right, and then we post it on the website. This is quite important because, again, when you're on internet and checking these businesses, you want to make sure that the information that is shared, it's true. Okay? And then we don't let the buyers contact directly the sellers. They have to do it through us. So this way we can filter and make sure that if you are interested in one company, you are really interested and you have some financial capabilities to really take over. And then we do the matching and we do all the support along the process. So from having an agreement about confidentiality, an NDA, and then we help them do the valuation, do the business plan, to take decisions about taxes, about what to do with the employees, and at the end help them with the contract. I just share with you, can I take it? Thank you. I just share with you some of our key figures. You can see, yesterday we were talking, somebody was asking about which is the price, the correct price about when buying, selling, etc. Here you have some average price per sector, and here, just the first one, for example, a retail commerce and a retail shop, it's less than 40,000 euros. So not that expensive, so it can be a solution. As I said before, imagine you're 45, 50 years old, you get unemployed, and you have some money available to invest. It can be a solution for you to have a job. And here you have the distribution about sectors and investment, etc. What is more important, as Albert introduced before, here in here you have, okay, this is, you help more than 2,500 companies to be sold, but then what happened with those companies? Are they still alive? Are they doing good, doing bad? So we did a survey. Actually, we've done through waves of this study. And this year, at the end of this year, we're going to launch the third one. And we asked them, okay, you bought the company 3 years ago, and how is it going? You have some information here. So 87% still working, and almost 5% the buyer bought it, and then they sold it to another entrepreneur. And this is thanks to the existing of that we have a marketplace, so we have a solution and structured solution for those who want to first buy and then maybe add value and renew the company and sell it to another one. And since most of almost 40% of those selling a business through Reempresa, it is because of retirement. So you can imagine older people being replaced by younger people. So we were asking, which new techniques or tools are you adding to the business? Here you have some, for example, 62% now they use social networks, and before the owner didn't. Or 45% now they have a website, and the old owner didn't have one. So new people coming with new ideas, new solutions, they bring new technology, at the end innovative. So this is also good for our economy, also from the social perspective, because we are bringing this new generation, modernizing the companies. We have a video that will explain all this better than me, and I think we can watch it. It's just 2-3 minutes, and you will see Albert explaining a bit our system, and also 2 testimonials, one buyer and one seller. And I want to keep in important detail. Our methodology, what we try is that the person who is selling, it's not about taking the money and running away. It's about transferring knowledge to make sure that the new buyer is doing good, is doing great in the business. So you will see here one example of what we try is to have a period of time, let's say 1 month, 1 year, it depends, that they work together. So it's not the same when you start a business, you have to go, you're new in the sector. So this, with our methodology, we make them, or we try to make them work together for a specific time, so they get a chance to go to the customers, to the suppliers, etc., and say, look, I'm going to retire, and this is the new owner, and you're there to help him. And yes, we can see the video, you will understand.
Hello and welcome to Business Class from Barcelona. 4 years ago, we introduced you to a system of transferring businesses that works especially well. Now Albert is going to tell us some important information about what is often a crucial step in the life of an SME, buying an existing company. Every year in Europe, more than 150,000 companies and 600,000 jobs are lost because of issues with the business transfer process. So with us as we find out more about your system and the company that you have helped. This is Eduardo. About 3 years ago, he took over this SME through the Catalan business transfer system. It provides security and telecommunications solutions. The change has been smooth, partly because the former boss, Rafael, has never really gone. He's now a company employee. Rafael has been like an adoptive father to me. He shared his experience and knowledge of the market, the industry, and has introduced me to suppliers. That has allowed me to use the knowledge he's used to grow the company over the last 35 years to continue the business. Y seguir adelante el negocio. Es una persona que sabe nada. He, Eduardo, has a fresh pair of eyes. La empresa, and with my knowledge about the company, he can continue to grow the business. 15 jobs have been saved and turnover is rising. Overall, the company has strengthened its client base, which includes several major operators in the port of Barcelona and the city's famous cable car. Reempresa has helped sustain this company's long-term success. The system has allowed me to have direct contact with Rafael from day one. We went way beyond the formal contract. There was a transfer of competitiveness and knowledge. This is Albert from Reempresa. And what's strange is that the system you've created did not previously exist anywhere in Europe. We created a physical and digital small business marketplace that's working very well in Catalonia and Spain, and now we're going to expand into 15 more EU member states. A digital platform with experts and training sessions for sellers and future buyers. Since 2011, Reempresa, which is co-financed by the European Commission, has transferred over 1,000 companies and saved more than 3,000 jobs. Finally, Albert, it seems easier to take over an existing business than to start a new one from scratch. Yes, our studies show that it is 7 times easier to grow by buying a company that already has knowledge, a market, and a quality. Thanks, Albert. Find out more on our social networks and the Business Class webpage. See you soon for a new episode.
Well, I hope the video helped understand a bit better what we do and also showing beautiful Barcelona, which always is great. I just want to share with you 2 final thoughts about the video. For those selling a company, it is important to think that you have to sell future. The buyer is buying future. They want to get to know which can be the future of that company, which is the potential. So you don't have to sell the past, which is important again because you give context about the story of the company, but the sentence that we use is when you sell a company you should be like, if I would be 20 years younger I would do this, that and that, I will go to this market, I will do digitalization or internationalization, etc. Because the buyer is buying this, he's buying the future of the company. And then you see Eduardo, which is the buyer, he was aware of the competitiveness. So when you are looking for a business, you have to understand why this business right now has this performance. Sometimes it's because they have a good location. If you're managing a cafeteria and it's in front of the main train station of Bucharest, so of course the location is important. Sometimes it's because the seller has everything in the head. So you have to identify that to make sure that when you buy and you're doing your future business plan, you make sure that these assets, these elements remain in the company, or you have a plan like working together for some time. And yes, thank you very much. I was happy to share that with you. Thank you.
If you have any questions right now, dacă aveți întrebări pentru echipa Reempresa.
Felicitări pentru prezentare. Și întrebarea mea ar fi cât de complicat ar fi pentru mine, cetățean român, să cumpăr prin dumneavoastră o afacere la Barcelona. Chiar sunt interesat, nu pun o întrebare doar așa ca să o pun.
It's not difficult, and you're so welcome to come. Our system works that usually the M&A work, I hire a broker, I give him a mandate, and he's doing the work. Our system, we want to match people with people. So it's important that when we have the meeting of a potential buyer with the seller, both the buyer and the seller, they have to be together to get to know each other. Because we're not talking of businesses like investments. We're talking about mostly self-employment. So you will work in that company. So to buy a company through us, mostly you have to come to Reempresa. We will interview you about which kind of companies you're looking for, how much money you want to spend, which sector, etc., etc. But then, yes, you have to be there because somebody that is selling, you understand that selling your kit, you want to make sure who is the one that is going to continue the business. So that's also important when negotiating, because it's not only about the money, it's also about the feeling. If I can see that you're going to take care of my business, of my customers, etc. So feeling is also important. Yes. Thank you.
Prima întrebare, cum afectează mentalitatea angajaților transferul de proprietar? Și a doua întrebare, ați vorbit la un moment dat de business angels, dacă se pot pe detalia. Mersi.
I will answer the first one and Albert will answer the second one. About the employees, first of all, usually when buyers, sometimes they think the employees are a liability. Like you have to now, let me say this way, buy the employees. For us, the employees are an asset, because they are the ones who really understand how the business works. So if I'm new in the company, I want to make sure the employees remain, because they know really how to do the daily stuff. So yes, it's a challenge when you are buying a company to manage the relationship with the employees. At the end, just make sure that they understand that it's a good thing, because you're here to give continuation, you're bringing new ideas. At the end, what you want is to grow that company, no? But yes, it's a tricky situation. Usually when the sellers, they come, sometimes the employees, they know, because sometimes there are two employees, so it's easy, and you see your boss is 65 years old, you get an idea. But yes, sometimes employees don't know, so along the process, the average is when we match a seller and a buyer, it takes around 6 months to sell the company. So during these 6 months, you get the chance to start explaining and make sure they remain safe and quiet about this next move. Yes. And about business angels.
About business angels are, as you know, wealthy individual persons investing in others' companies. Then I belong to the IBAN, which is the Federation, European Business Angels Network. There's a branch here, there's a Romanian Business Angels Network here. We have had 2 or 3 big events with you, the Romanian here, and this the most part of these business angels are investing in new companies, then startups with a high potential of growth, and in the other hand with a high risk of failure, because these companies are risky, are innovating and in new markets. And my concern was we can invest in these risky companies and we don't invest in these regular, usual, current companies that are already working and delivering nice performance in terms of employment and in terms of revenues and profit. And it was one of my concerns. In this moment, we have not already organized a way to include also the investor in between the seller and the buyer, because it's difficult. Because as Oriol says, the most part of the companies that we sell are for self-employment. There are people that are taking part, active part on the company, and then sometimes there is not enough profit to also pay the people that are working there, pay the new entrepreneur, and pay also a revenue for the business angels. We are working on it. Perhaps next time that we meet, we can explain something more.
After a successful transfer, how many sellers become buyers? Yeah.
We have some few serial buyers. Then I remember one in the software and hardware sector that has buy several companies as a way to grow.
Yes, I said that around 40% of those selling a business is for retirement reasons, so you get those out of this game. And I don't have an exact number. Some of them I know that they in the future they buy a new company, and some of them they just go to. We ask them about why are you selling the company. We have all the data. Sometimes it's for personal reasons, sometimes for health reasons. So again, imagine that you have cancer and you have to go to a hospital, etc., etc. So why you have to shut down the business and fire the employees? Why don't you have a system to look for a new owner so the company can go? Sometimes we have a couple married and they got divorced, and the company is like the kid. They have to fight about it, and so instead of destroying the company, they decide to just sell it, and someone will take care of it. So I don't have a specific figure about that, but the good thing is that since we have the system, now they can buy several times a company, or they can sell and then come back and buy another one.
You should imagine that the thing is that the people that are buying are not professionals, are not brokers buying companies to do something. There are people that usually they are involved in the new company. Then the same is for the people that sell the company. They're selling his own company, and it was the system that they worked during last years, and perhaps they changed the life. Usually, they change his life, and they go to, on the one hand, to be retired, but they are not a professional activity to buy and sell the companies. There are 5%, as we have said, that are buying and selling companies in a regular way, but there is not. Our marketplace is peer-to-peer. There's not mainly a marketplace for the brokers that are doing this in a professional way. It's peer-to-peer for the people that sell his own business.
Prețul mediu de o firmă care s-a transmis spre Reempresa este de mai puțin decât 50.000 de euro. Confirmați că aici în România firme mai mari acum n-au probleme cu transmitere pentru că au consultanți și nu știu ce, dar că patroni și proprietari de firme mai mici trebuie să lupte în anul viitor, să pun la punct un ecosistem potrivit?
This is what serves Reempresa. Reempresa is focused to the very small businesses. Then it's for the 98% of the businesses that is the majority, the vast majority of the business existing that are under 10 employers with a turnover There is in this 2,500 companies there are involved 7,000 different 7,000 direct employers. Then is focused for this to help those people to avoid the barriers that they have. They have some barriers. Then one barrier is to have one barrier is the cost of the services that the brokers provide. If there is, you can imagine if you provide a service for a deal of 30,000 or 40,000 or 50,000, what bill can one do for this? Then we have asked the government to help those people, putting some money to deliver these services for free. All these services that Oriol has explained is for free for the seller and for the buyer. It's not any fee. Not a fee for the valuation, not a fee for the transaction. They, of course, they pay to buy the business. They pay, and the seller has the income of the business, and there is some regular taxes or lawyers if you need to sign the papers in the notary. Notary is the notary. Notary. Yeah, in the notaries. Then you have all these costs, but our activity is paid by some sponsors and the government, and the activity of the entrepreneur, of the technical person, the consultants, is paid by the municipality with some of our partners that are different organizations, and it's because of this that we can achieve this kind of level of transactions, because as the current regular transactions that usually people don't do formally. They have done this, as I say, under the table, without, or just the people that close, because the cost of the transaction and the cost of the finding someone that can buy the company, or just sometimes it's like take care of the company, because it's not the amount of money, because you are getting retired and you have done this for 45 50 years, and there's no thing to success you. Then there is a system that is open to all these kind of companies that has not consultants, has not professional people that is taking care of this.
Albert, ai spus ceva foarte interesant, că banii ăștia vin de la guvern, într-o formă sau alta. Ieri am avut-o aici pe Roxana Mânzatu, care chiar își dorește să creeze niște programe care să ajute acest transfer de afaceri. Crezi că poți să-mi trimiți sistemul vostru sau ceva care să ne ajute pe noi să nu mai reinventăm roata, să, într-un fel, să ne ajutați să construim acest sistem mai repede? Cu ceea ce este nevoie să cerem guvernului sau ceva de genul ăsta?
I can tell our history. You should explain the circumstances. Then there is a big risk of closing, I don't know, thousands of companies here in Romania. These are small companies, and no one is doing nothing. And there is some funds, in terms of European funds, dedicated to this. Then we have let me say, an award to the best use of the ERDF funds, because these funds are regularly used to build premises, and we have there is a line there that says that is also one of the objectives is to protect and promote the SMEs, and under this line we have built a program, a first program in 2011. Then we have started with a small program to demonstrate that that can exist, delivering this business plan and telling the authorities how we can do this. This was a program of 100,000 euros only to design the thing. Then a small program in terms of the RDF, because the RDF is, there are current big programs with millions of euros, a small program of less than $500,000 for deliver the first pilot program in 3 years. Then we enlarge this program because there is the possibility to enlarge this to 3 years more. And then we build around this ERDF program local programs that all the provinces or municipalities, they do two things. They pay a little bit for the function of the marketplace, and they pay the salaries of the people that are involved in the activity. Then we have the tool and the workforce. And it's the way that we have worked, we have established this. We have now 80 different entities involved, municipalities, the provinces, the government, and we have allied to this to all the organizations that are doing something. Chamber of Commerce, employers organization, sectors organization, whatever, the real estate association, which are some of you involved. All these people is involved in the activity, and because of this we can deliver these services, let me say, this high quality and interesting services to these people for free, and otherwise they cannot have these services. And we show, and we can show our numbers as a demonstration. We show that we have with this in total perhaps, I know, in 10 years perhaps 5 million euros of investment, direct investment. We have delivered 115 million euros of transactions, and 2,500 companies already existing that is given employee to these people. And we have also count how many savings has the government, because if you go to if these people go to get unemployed, and you pay the subsidies for unemployed people, 7,000 people, I don't know, 5 years, you can imagine the number is absolutely...
Actually, that was good information to do the lobbying and convince government and the unemployment office, etc. We did this study. So if you have a regular micro firm there in Barcelona, and we shut it down, we close it. So we were calculating the taxes that you're losing as government, that you have to pay unemployment pensions, usually the one buying a company, he or she is unemployed, etc. So we did quick mathematics. Per year, if you save this company, you're saving to the government 50,000 euros. So that means 1,000 businesses is 50 million euros, 2,000, 100 million. So this is the quick mathematics that the politicians understand.
And as Dan say, we can help with methodology, with tools, with all, because it's working in Catalonia. We are not Romanian, but we are glad to help the Romanian ecosystem to grow.
Ideea este că enunțul problemei este un lucru, conștientizarea ei deja este un alt pas și să ai o soluție pentru acea problemă deja e un al treilea pas. Deci noi tot încercăm să conștientizăm problema, dar o facem degeaba dacă nu avem o încheiere, nu avem o soluție. Deci soluțiile cred că sunt la fel de importante sau mai importante decât problema, și de aceasta te întrebam dacă putem să facem o colaborare în care să vă urmăm pașii și să ajungeți și noi ca voi undeva în viitorul apropiat.
For example, at the beginning, 10 years ago, we had the same situation, so nobody knew that buying a company, is it something possible, or even that there is any system to sell the company. So yes, again, you have to be creative from the marketing perspective. But as I said, that's why when we went to congresses, everybody is start a business, do business, and we were not, do not buy a business. So at least people are shocked and they get to know you. Then other things, at the end you have supply and demand, buyers and sellers. You have to stimulate this. So you have to identify which are the key actors working with buyers, for example, the unemployment office, all these local offices working with entrepreneurs, universities, etc. And then for the sellers, so usually we go through other organizations. So the business organization, employers organization, the craft unions, etc. So usually what we did at the beginning is every year these business organizations, imagine about restaurants or even a car industry, no, which is huge in Romania, car industry association, they do the annual event. So what we were asking is, can you give us 10 minutes just at the beginning or at the end of this event, and we explain this. So rather to go through direct communication to the seller, we went through these organizations, because also if you do it like this, you build trust. Because it's not the same if I do a campaign to attract sellers than if I do it through the Chamber of Commerce, which has a reputation and people can understand that this is something serious, that it's transparent, etc.